All right, I guess we are live now. You guys hear a little echo, or I hear a little echo? It's in my computer here.
You have it muted.
How about now? Yeah, I think that's better. All right.
All right, you're good.
All right, guys. Week 4 ending, week 5 starting. Sports Injury Central Pro Football Doc podcast here. Lots going on. I mean, I hear a lot of chatter about there's more injuries than ever. I don't know that that's true. I think there's more coverage of injuries than ever. I think you hear the words cluster injuries being used a lot, even on broadcast TV. I hear it on Sunday Night Football. I think you have a lot of beat reporters and fantasy, and you talk about left guard 3 nowadays, right? And it used to not do that. Have there been some name injuries? Yes. Right now, and we'll talk about Anthony Richardson and to it, but overall, quarterbacks aren't horrible right now.
It was worse last year. I mean,
Yeah.
It took a while to get there, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's some wide receivers, running backs. There's always injuries. I would argue the first 3 weeks we thought we were on the slower side, and now we're caught up. I mean, it always ebbs and flows a little bit, but so always lots to talk about. And hopefully you like this live format. Taylor and Doug will jot down any questions that are submitted through X, Twitter, YouTube, or whatever it is, and we'll get them all answered here. But no, I don't see a big link between preseason and now. Look, if you didn't play in preseason, does your soft tissue injury leak into the regular season instead of getting it in the preseason and holding there? Maybe, but we'll see. So big topics.
I'll just say from like a legwork standpoint, Doc, because covering injuries, I think it's the same. And like I don't even know if we have any of the major like a big star getting those ACLs. Like Rodgers with a boom.
Last year, Aaron Rodgers, boom,
right.
4 plays in Monday Night Football. Nick Chubb, boom, dislocated knee.
Week 3 was crazy. Remember last year, Mike Williams was one of many ACL tears too. So I think last year maybe was a little more. I would say. I don't know. It just seems like the same pattern though, Doc. Injuries happen every week. You got the big names get hurt every week. We just
go through. You see, and then here comes bad news Monday. Black Monday, right, where there's more bad news, and then we'll see what happens here. But in terms of a little recap of last week, I mean, I guess it hasn't happened yet. Indeed, Snoop Huntley is the starter tonight. That's what we said on the podcast here, and maybe longer than this week too. We'll see how he does.
You need a full week of Skylar Thompson reps to even get him to start, right?
Yeah. So I think it's another week of Snoop Huntley. Of course, it depends on how he does tonight. No A.J. Brown, no Devonta Smith, no Lane Johnson as expected. We were wrong. Justin Herbert did play.
Yep.
We were right about the others. No Bosa, no Joe Alt.
No bookend tackles. Yep.
No Slater, Rashawn Slater, left tackle. Herbert did a reasonable job. He wasn't 100% went through. I just thought they might make the coaching decision. Look, we said all along he wasn't hurt worse this week than last week. He played last week, so what changed my mind was he didn't play and finish the game in week 3, and now he's down his right tackle and left tackle, and they have a week 5 bye. Maybe take the chance to get all the way better. They didn't. They played him. Played a good first half. Close. Only scored 10 points.
You can't blame him playing for why they lost, I would say.
No,
yeah. There's a lot of other stuff.
Play.
Yeah.
And I always thought he was able to play.
Right.
But we always say return to play is 3 parts. There's a medical, there's the player, and there's the team. And you need 3 unanimous yeses to play. Medical would say he could play through, but he's not 100%. Is it better to rest him for a week? Sure, it's always is.
Especially with the bye.
Clear.
Yeah.
The player, he wants to play through. It's Justin Herbert. And it was going to be up to the team to stop him and say, no, let's sit you down and get you to 100% with
right.
the bye. The team chose not to. There's nothing wrong with that. They're examining him. They know more than I do. And I have zero criticism of any medical staff, especially the Chargers. I love their head athletic trainer. I know him very well. Knew him when he was an intern back in the day. That's how old I am. He's a great guy, a top athletic trainer.
Mhm.
But I also would never call him for inside information. And
He would hang right up, like you've always said, if you ever called. Yeah.
He's not taking my calls.
Yeah.
There are times we do talk, but it's never anything that I reveal, and I
Yeah.
don't call him for, hey, is Herbert gonna play? Who's this? I mean, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
With HIPAA, etc. All right, let's roll through some topics. What do you got?
So I got a couple of preliminary stuff just to get everybody joining in. We had an injury on the Sunday night game. Taylor Rapp suffered a concussion. He normally wears a collar. I had a conversation with you, and I stopped it because I would like to talk more about it. You brought up the animal woodpecker in
Okay,
concussions.
Right.
Go deep into that.
Okay. First of all, you guys know concussions near and dear to my heart. CTE, not belittling anything. Before we get to the Q collar what Taylor Rapp was wearing, there seemed to be a trickle of some more of the soft helmets. The what do you call them? The shells. What do you call them now? I'm blanking on that.
I know, me too.
But yeah, the Guardian cap.
Guardian caps, yes, sir. Yeah, I was blanking as well.
Patriots player had it on. The way that they do the sheer logo thing, it doesn't look as intrusive and silly as the preseason pictures with this piece of foam on your head. So I think that leads to some acceptance.
You have 6 players so far wearing it, and it's been increasing every week. Yeah.
Yeah, and as we said, I think Tua, when he does come back, he's angling to. He's going to wear a Guardian cap.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with a Guardian cap. Could it help you? Maybe, but it's certainly not foolproof.
It's a comfortability thing. Do you think it fits differently, or players won't wear it because of that?
Well, I mean, there is something to being slippery with the shells.
Yes.
Where you get slide off versus sticking and torquing. There's some worry there. But when we were talking about Taylor Rapp, has unfortunately got a concussion. Remains to be seen if he can play next week, the type of concussion. And yes, every concussion in and of itself is career-threatening. So yes, Taylor Rapp has a career-threatening injury. If he has lingering effects, it couldn't mean he's ended his career. But thankfully, that usually doesn't happen. So I'm not trying to scare tactic.
Right.
But if you noticed, he had this little
Collar,
black collar on around here. I guess there's no way around it. It's called a Q collar. I don't like promoting things, so to speak.
That's the brand name of it, not the name of the actual item.
Google it. Look it up.
Okay.
The Q collar. What does it do? It's basically a plastic band. It's kind of like a breathe right strip for your nose, except it's on your neck, and it puts pressure on your neck veins, jugular veins. The theory is a woodpecker. How does a woodpecker not get a concussion?
Yeah.
And some science says is they do something called Valsalva, which is increasing the intracranial pressure. We've all heard about the brain like a jello mold shifting, and it's not necessarily the hit, it's the counter coup, shifting of the brain. So there is some animal theories, neurobiologists, that woodpeckers don't get concussions not because they're bird brain. Dad joke, sorry.
Good one.
But obviously you're dad too. You laughed at
I liked
joke.
it, so yeah, I have to. Yep.
Valsalva, increasing the intracranial pressure, more fluid around the brain, so it doesn't, quote, slosh.
Okay.
So
keeps it more
that's
firmly
the
in
theory.
place. Yeah.
That's the theory of woodpeckers. So this little device that puts a little bit of pressure, not on your arteries, it's not cutting off your breathing, it's not cutting off blood flow to your brain, but just a little bit of impedance on the jugular veins increases your intracranial pressure. Great theory. Completely unproven. No one's measured intracranial pressures with that thing. Completely unproven in a football player. I'm not saying, look, who knows? Maybe Taylor Rapp's concussion would have been worse if he weren't wearing the device. I'm not against wearing the device, but it's just an example.
It's not a full preventive measure. Yeah.
Clearly he wore it and still got a concussion.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't, I'm not saying it made the concussion worse. Maybe it made it better. maybe had nothing to do with it, but there's no magic pill.
Right.
There's no guardian cap. There's no jujitsu lesson. There's no this, that, the other. And it was interesting. Josh Allen slid last night. People say, Tua, why didn't you slide? Well, Josh Allen slid last night on third down, was marked for a first down, and then automatically, magically in the booth without a review, marked half yard short.
Right.
What's the big deal? They got it on fourth down. The big deal was Tua's play was a fourth down play.
He needed the first down.
You couldn't take the chance of sliding.
Yep.
And so I'm just saying that in defense of Tua and quarterbacks. It's easy. Look, imagine if Josh Allen did that on fourth down. How much grief would he get?
Yeah.
Why did you slide?
Why didn't you go further? Why didn't exactly.
Right?
Yep.
But it's the ball's marked when you start sliding.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up getting marked half yard short. But it was third down. They went for it. They got it. Non-story. But if that was fourth down, which was Tua's situation, huge story, right? So anyways, let's move on from that. What's the next
topic is last week we walked back from the last podcast. We talked about Antonio Pierce and his comments about business decisions. In theory, maybe it worked. They did get a win against the Browns, but he did walk back his comments. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah. All we said last week, he had just made the comments, right? And we just said, wow. I said, wow, that's calling guys out week 3, business decisions. That is an insult.
Yep.
Beyond insult that you're making a business decision. That's like alligator arms. That's an insult. And I thought he was coming in hot and strong. Maybe it was deserved, maybe not. And I'm quite sure he straightened out the comments in the team
behind the scenes,
and a player even alluded to it. Yeah, I'm sure he'll tell us what he really means by that. I just was very eyebrow raising. They won, so maybe it worked. I mean,
Devontae Adams and Max Crosby
didn't play through his hamstring. Maybe it was a business decision, maybe not. Maybe he's being traded, maybe not. Who knows?
Right.
Max Crosby, who's been playing through his high ankle, didn't play. Did his ankle get worse? Probably. I'm not saying he's making. I mean, interesting. The guys played hard for him. And it does seem like he did say, I'm sorry for creating the extra hoopla. So it's not completely apologizing for the comments, but he walked it back some.
Yeah.
And so he got the desired effect. The guys played harder this week. And now he's not like pressing the all-in button. He's walked it back a little bit. But all I'm saying is I've never heard that publicly said, especially in week 3.
Like you said, veterans, it might not ring true if you hear that in week 3 as much.
I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
That's unusual.
You did mention, too, he maybe came in right off the, hot and fiery, and he is that kind of coach, it seems.
Yes.
So, so that's maybe.
And good on him. Whatever tactic he used, it worked at least this week. So we'll see what happens next week. But I think that controversy is behind them. Imagine if they lost this week.
Yep.
I mean, they won, he walked it back a little bit. So
we got the better of the situation. We didn't see the worse if it didn't work out.
And then the peanut butter's back in the jar. I don't know. Something like that.
Yes.
They put it back and closed it up a little bit.
It's all done with. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, we'll jump into the injury rundown. We got a bunch of people on right now. First one, obviously, we're going to jump in is Anthony Richardson, talk about his hip injury.
Anthony Richardson. And, let's talk about it while we get more news breaking on Rashee Rice.
Yes,
right?
yes.
There is some news. You guys will catch me up on it as we're recording this. Anthony Richardson, in-game. I like the new shorts. You guys like the new shorts that we put out in-game from the War Room? Instead of just written, people want to consume content all sorts of different ways. But we said hip pointer. He suffered one injury, not 2. He suffered the hip pointer, came back in, a few plays, then tried to push off that side, didn't have power, kind of fell down, and then his day was over. We said possible to return if he gets an injection, but only if he gets an injection. They're hard to inject, not calling them soft. He stood on the sidelines, which many people would say, oh, he's fine. Not so fast. Hip pointers, very painful, takes away power. He's a running quarterback.
He said he couldn't step into throws. That's why he couldn't come back in.
And my guess this morning is he walks with a limp. Let's see what beat reporters see.
Yep.
Okay. It swells and gets worse overnight. With that being said, early, unless he comes in saying, I feel great today, it's nothing, I think he misses a week or 2. I don't think it's IR. They have Flacco, but I think he misses a week or two.
Does Flacco make them rest him and not push him in if they had maybe like a Easton Stick? We talked about him last week.
Why you gotta
I'm
wait
sorry.
on poor Easton Stick? I mean, he's an NFL quarterback.
Yes. Yeah. Now, if they had someone lesser than Flacco, you think they maybe push him to play through this hip injury this week? It's a big game against the Jags divisional.
It enters a discussion.
Okay.
But no, I think it makes it easier. Look, Justin Fields. If the Steelers didn't have Justin Fields, if the Steelers weren't 3-0, they're 3-1 now. Russell Wilson might have played before now.
Yeah, I agree with
So
that.
yes, it enters into the decision, but I don't think it's pushing. I don't think, if we don't have Flacco, we're going to force him to play. It doesn't work.
It's
that
not
way.
very. Yeah,
It just makes the decision easier.
Right.
And I think hip pointers are real deals. It's hematoma bleeding at the iliac crest. It affects the oblique muscles, the muscles on the side of your hip and torso. Painful, can't step in the throw, hard to rotate, hard to accelerate, cut. He's a running quarterback. I think he misses a week or two, but no IR for Anthony Richardson.
So next one is we were talking about Rashee Rice. There's no definitive news yet. Yeah, you're gonna stay with him for a little bit.
Colts.
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh yeah. You're right. I did have the next. Yeah. So the running back, John Taylor, he was smiling like crazy after Jonathan Taylor.
I've never heard of anyone say John Taylor.
I always write it like that. No, you're right. Jonathan Taylor.
I don't know. There's some names like people, me, David. Some say Dave.
Yep.
You Taylor, Tay.
Yes.
I just joking.
That's at home. Yeah.
I thought Taylor Swift.
It might be.
Anyways,
so yeah, Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor. That's all I'm saying.
He suffered an ankle injury.
I mean, you don't ever hear Tony Richardson.
It's true.
Always Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, you're right. All right. Yeah, the high ankle for him. This is one that I see a lot of people like say his spirits and they take his word, but you saw something differently in video.
Here's what we saw in game and made it short.
Yep.
That's a right high ankle sprain. Can I tell the severity or degree off of video? We get hints, but it can't be sure.
Past issues as well.
I think it's a grade 1 to 2. I don't think it's a grade 3. I think Christian Watson's high ankle sprain.
2 to 3 maybe for him.
Christian Watson is maybe grade 3.
Okay.
No fracture.
Complete tear.
Christian Watson, I'm expecting him to go on injured reserve.
Okay.
I'm not expecting Jonathan Taylor to go on injured reserve. He could, but I'm not expecting it. It's a lower grade high ankle sprain than Christian Watson. Look, I'm glad he was in good spirits. I'm glad he said it was nothing. But what do we always say? Judge the injury, not the reaction to the injury.
Mm-hmm.
So the closest thing that we can do to judge the injury is judging the video. Because we don't have the MRI, we don't have all the other stuff. But we don't judge, he threw his helmet. We don't judge that he smiled, and that means everything is okay. People take injuries differently. I don't know that there's such a thing as a mild high ankle sprain in a running back. Look at Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon in game a couple weeks ago suffered a high ankle sprain, as we said by video. And boom, he returned to the game. And it was like, you're wrong. High ankle's not true. Well, no, we think it's high ankle.
It's the swelling, right?
He wasn't effective.
Nope.
And now he's missed the last 2 weeks. Jonathan Taylor here. This is the same right ankle as last season. What was the season before that he had it?
When he had the contract negotiation stuff.
Lingered into the regular season. Yes, there were contract negotiations. Mm-hmm. This is the same right ankle.
Right.
Let's put it this way. Who's more likely to play, Anthony Richardson or Jonathan Taylor? I think Anthony Richardson will be full go before Jonathan Taylor is full go.
Okay.
Who plays sooner? It's going to be a close one. And we've already said I think he misses a week or two, Anthony Richardson. So almost similar. So 2 Colts significant injuries, not to mention their defensive injuries that they've already had, not to mention Ryan Kelly and his neck, etc.
Yes.
Okay.
That'll be a big one. Yeah, Jaguars will have a pretty big health advantage in that game this week. Let's go back to Rashee Rice. You're giving people a little optimism on Twitter.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's walk through the timeline.
Right.
We see him get hit. on the interception.
Mahomes, yeah, ran into him.
Friendly fire.
Mm-hmm.
You got to give Rashee Rice credit to go make the tackle. You got to give Mahomes credit for making the tackle. He didn't know he was hitting Rashee Rice, and he said it well after the game. Yeah, I shouldn't. It's bad. I knew it was bad, but I shouldn't. If I don't throw the pick, that doesn't happen. So
Right.
he took full responsibility.
Absolutely.
Quad contusion in the upper quad, but that hyperextended his knee. Now we only had one video, one angle. We always want two. We only had one. That hyperextended his knee. And the initial reaction that we had, and you can look at the shorts or the articles at SIC Score, was quad contusion. That's not the issue. It's the knee hyperextension. At least bone bruise, possible posterior lateral corner, which is a ligament sprain. I mean, we did not definitively see ACL tear. Is ACL on the list? Yes. But we don't do multiple choice. Could be meniscus, could be ACL, could be PCL, could be this, could be that. We just give you the most likely. ACL was not on my list. Was it possible? Yes. Now, if you want to then say, oh, he has an ACL, we missed it, guilty. We only had one angle. And I don't want to be calling ACLs that we don't see just based on a hit, etc., random hit, and then try and boast or give a big list. I'm not saying he doesn't have an ACL tear. I'm just saying by video, we didn't see enough to make that 95% call. Of course it makes you nervous what Andy Reid said. Of course it makes you nervous what national journalists are saying, reporting they're fearing an ACL. It still may be.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this. I never had in my 17 years an ACL we didn't know immediately, that we didn't know before we talked to the press. Does the team want to tell you? Not necessarily.
They need to do their own plan.
Often we said the exact same thing. Waiting to move on. A lot of times we said we don't know. The Chiefs are being more forthcoming. We think it's bad news.
Well, it was interesting to talk to Reid during the game, right? That's not something you usually get. And he just immediately said not good and walked off. You know what I mean? So you don't usually get those, comments that early on,
I mean,
right?
You got some candor there. So
Yeah.
my point is that it seems, let's keep our fingers crossed. I'm not saying it's not an ACL tear. I'm just saying, the longer we go, the better off we might be. We'll see.
Right.
We'll see. I'm not saying it is or isn't. I would imagine, I know the Chiefs have a good medical staff. They can examine with the Lockman. And, media is saying maybe ACL. And let's see. To me, let's hope it's bone bruise and posterior lateral corner. Let's see. Let's hope it's 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. We'll take that not good. And
right.
And come back. Right? As it is now, Pacheco's most of the season. Hollywood Brown's all of the season. I mean, orthopedically, we say things come in threes.
There it is, yeah.
There it is, yeah.
I had a question from one of our listeners.
And by the time we post this podcast this afternoon on the recorded version, maybe we'll know Rashee Rice. But every day, every hour that we don't know, well, let's keep. What do they say? We'll leave a light on for you, or candle of hope, or what? I don't know what they say.
You're close in all these, probably. I don't know if you're right. So I'm just gonna take it. Yeah.
Proverbs or things that.
All right, I have one from the Thursday game. People forgot about one of the top fantasy players in the league this year is Malik Neighbors. He has 35 catches, 386 yards, and 3 touchdowns in 4 games. He suffered a concussion. That's going to be difficult for him to play this week, you think?
Well, first of all, let's talk about his concussion. Whose hit to the head was worse?
Devontae Smith. Is that the question?
No.
Oh, that one was pretty bad, though. I was just going ahead.
Whose hit was worse? Malik Neighbors on the sideline where he got a concussion, or Tua Tagovailoa?
Tua's wasn't that bad. It didn't look that bad.
Which one was worse?
Malik's was worse.
The hit?
They're both pretty innocuous, I'd say.
Lesson number 1, can't judge concussions by the hit.
Right. Even the posturing, it doesn't matter if it's,
Lesson number 2, whose hit was worse? I don't know that it's correlated.
Yeah, you're right.
We're talking about the end of, people have said Tua should never play again because the hit wasn't much. Well,
I don't know what that
should
is.
Malik Neighbors never play again?
Because the hit wasn't much, yeah.
Well, yes, if you want to be as safe as possible. We've talked about that. I'm just trying to get that out.
Yeah.
I think it's his first concussion.
Yep.
I
Not
don't
in
put
college.
a lot of stock into how light the hit was or how heavy the hit was. But I do put a lot of stock into he's got 10 days. And with the 10 days, I think he has a reasonable chance to play. Normally, with the 7-day cycle, it's about 50-50. With a 6-day cycle from Monday Night Football, it's less. Austin Eckler.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Less than 50-50. With a 10-day cycle, I think it's more than 50-50. It's not linear like that, but if you took 100 concussions on Thursday, more than half typically play. Whereas on Sunday to Sunday, about half. Monday to Sunday, less than half. So chance to clear and play.
And that's big for fantasy owners because he's been carrying them this year. We already talked Christian Watson. Your thoughts on Fred Warner and his ankle? That's a big part of the Niners defense. Do you think that was maybe score related?
And Christian Watson, by the way, they said X-rays are negative.
No fracture. Yeah.
Well, a very severe high ankle becomes a fracture.
Okay.
So this already tells you Christian Watson's in that range. Jonathan Taylor, we didn't even have a report of an X-ray.
They're already saying IR's in play for Watson already, so they're already saying 4+ maybe.
He's going to IR.
Yeah.
The type of receiver he is, and I don't think he's coming off in 4 weeks. That's
Right.
a significant high ankle. So that's Christian Watson. Another X-ray that was negative. I saw a lot of chatter. Joe Burrow.
When he got stepped on, yeah, there were some people that said he might have had a little fracture or something. We didn't see that.
It's
No.
football,
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, he's hurt, not injured. By the way, that's not going to knock another quarterback. Aaron Rodgers limping around. We
Yes.
see it. We didn't tweet on it. We didn't write an article.
Left
on
leg
it.
was looked at on the sidelines. Yeah.
It's football. Hurt, not injured.
So he's banged up. That's it, right? No,
Hurt,
nothing
not
else.
Injured.
Yes.
Okay, Aaron Rodgers. That's Aaron Rodgers.
You know, it's the first time you ever told me that. I slipped on your steps when I was staying at your house one time because I was coming in late at night, and I was like, "Oh, my ankle," and I was like, "Oh, I'm okay." And you're like, "You're probably hurt, not injured." I was like, "You're probably right," because I'm walking to the bed. So
Now that we're past the statute of limitations, I'm
Yeah.
just trying not to get you not sue my home.
Yeah. You're funny.
Raise my rates. But that's
You're funny.
a couple years past now. So we
Yes.
can-
Yes.
Yeah, I thought you broke it, but I
Yeah.
just was telling you.
You're like, oh, I don't want to get it. I don't want it. It's too late at night. I don't want to get it. Big fantasy players. We go. You said Fred Warner. Did we talk about his ankle? Do you think he's fine? Score related, maybe?
It's fine.
no-
I think he could have returned it if the score were down. And Fred Warner by video, we didn't see a lot.
You think a healthier week for Debo and Kittle going into week 5, correct?
Debo was pretty hampered. He got that one catch.
Yeah, but nothing before
Debo
that.
was pretty hampered. Debo was kind of what we thought. Kittle maybe was a little bit better. They'll both be better in a week here, so that's good.
Do you want to talk a little bit just Justin Herbert's ankle? Do you see any issues going into this week? Same thing as this week, right?
I guarantee you he's not playing this week.
The bye. I mean,
Yes.
week 6. Yes, week 6. Do you think the bye will be better, or is it the same?
Better.
Yeah, better. Okay,
Better.
all right. Yeah, that we had a
More
question.
better, if that's word. Proper
Yes.
English. More better if he didn't play against the Chiefs, but still better. You won't see visible limp
Okay.
in week 6, and it probably would be behind him if he didn't play this week.
I know people forgot about this, but maybe the bigger issue for him is just the offense, right? He hasn't really been fluid with that offense. You know, he had that foot injury early in the preseason, but I don't know. We talked about with people, and he had all spring, right, to like go through it, but
Boy,
he doesn't look great in that
We are-
offense.
We are such prisoners of the moment.
Are we?
Yes. Am I confused, or were there headlines after week 2? John Harbaugh's 0-2. Jim Harbaugh's 2-0.
Yes, they were. Those are all over the place. Yes.
I mean, Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaught, no issues, right? We're such.
Well, now he's
prisoners of the moment.
slamming his helmet on the sidelines. They're 0-2. So of course, yes. Now everybody's flipped that entire headline around. Yes, I know what you're saying.
I remember after week 1, Kirk Cousins, his Achilles is not right.
He can't throw, and then when he beat the Eagles, oh my God, they're back. Yeah, no, you're right. I have a question just on the big fantasy tight ends returning this week. Better chance to return: David Njoku with his ankle, Trey McBride with his concussion, or Evan Ingram with his hamstring.
Ooh, well, how
Just
about,
give you a
how
little-
about Sam Laporta for sure?
Sam
tonight?
Laporta is 100% sure. Yes, tonight. Yes, with his yes.
Sam Laporta for sure tonight. That I think I would actually say, if you're talking about playing and 100%, it would be Trey McBride.
Okay.
And Njoku and Trey McBride might have the same chance of playing.
Because this is the third week now.
But-
Yeah.
McBride is more playing and 100%.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That makes 100%. And Ingram, you
Ingram's-
don't like that pre-hamstring for warm-ups, right? This will be third week now
But see, it's really only second week.
because it was right before the
Because it
game.
was
Yeah.
pregame,
Yes,
right?
you're
So
right.
it's not
Yep.
the whole week.
Yep.
The way that.
And he's more of a speed tight end than
so that factors into it.
Yeah.
So Laporta, McBride, and Joku. Ingram.
There you go. Yes. And then Kittle, that was last week. Steelers, I just want to talk about their O-line. Justin Fields has been playing really well behind that O-line. You have some thoughts maybe because he runs around and he doesn't need the pocket time. Now they're going to be down right guard. He had James Daniels. He tore his Achilles last week. Right tackle's out for the season. Center's out for the season. And the left guard's dealing with the pec strain. He's missed all year. So
I mean, they do have a backup right tackle.
he's a first rounder from a couple years ago. Yeah.
But still, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about your cluster injury. Justin Fields running for his life. Pittsburgh, hot start, 3-0. They're great. Now
it might be too much now, maybe.
I already saw some, testiness in the locker room for some post-game interview stuff. But that's the way the NFL is.
3-1, by the way. Colts beat them. Yeah. 3-0 before.
After
Yeah.
one loss.
Yep.
Okay, admittedly to the Colts, it's like I see testiness in the Steelers locker room post-game.
That means it wasn't all. It was kind of fragile to start.
NFL.
Yeah.
It's look, I've said this story before. I remember one year we were 0-11 with the old San Diego Chargers, and we won a game against the Chiefs, I believe, to go 1-11, and we felt pretty good about ourselves that week.
Because you needed that week.
You just what you turn back and look at the week, right? You could be 6-0, but you lose that seventh game, you feel pretty bad about yourself that week. So the Steelers are 3-0. They feel bad now, 3-1. We'll see. That's a lot to overcome. I believe, and we always talk about hiding behind health. Look, we do see incidences of. That was an interesting timeout situation. Who was that? That was the Ravens yesterday.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Last night.
Yep. Sunday Night Football. Yep.
Sunday Night Football. Marlon Humphreys. Was it Humphreys? Whoever it was went down, and the Bills had already called the timeout, but because he went down soccer style,
It was Marlon Humphrey. Yes. Yeah.
They ended up charging
timeout. They docked him. Yeah.
the Ravens with the timeout,
Yes, yep.
even though the Bills already had called the timeout. Now, the smart play would have been for him to give, oh, no, I wasn't hurt. I just sat down because we had a timeout. I'm tired. I can get off the field, charge them the timeout. Right. And then he could come back in the game. But instead, the Ravens got charged a timeout. And then they took a timeout and got a 5-yard penalty, which gave him the first down, back-to-back timeouts.
I had a comment just real quick. I don't want him to rewind. So he's asking, what do you think about Rice being out next week and that they have more test runs? He wants a glimmer of hope, basically.
Your glimmer of hope is maybe his season isn't done. Stop worrying about next week.
Yeah, next week.
Go with plan B next week.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I said hope, not a miracle.
Yes.
I mean, glimmer of hope, not a miracle. No, he's not playing next week.
Yeah. Big one after the bye. You expect AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Lane Johnson to be back for the Eagles after their bye?
Yes. Concussions are always unpredictable.
That's 2 out of 3 of those players. Yep.
Lane Johnson are concussion. But yes, with the other extra week, I do expect that. And AJ Brown is about time. Now, we talked about it. I don't know how much we put out there. Never believed AJ Brown was playing this week, despite LP on Friday. Never. We all kind of knew Devonta Smith wasn't.
Do you want to talk about why the Lane Johnson thing? Do you want to how you think is that something to say?
Okay. What do I got to lose?
Yeah, you could say no.
Okay. Theory.
On the downgrade.
Suspicion.
Yep.
Intuition. Having been on the other side before and perhaps in some way participated in the same stuff. So I am not calling anybody out as doing anything illegal or improper. But let me let you in on the gamesmanship that can happen in the NFL. Can happen. Not throwing any aspersions like the Eagles and their medical staff, and it might not even be them. I like Nick Sirianni. It might not even be him. I have utmost respect for the GM, Howie Roseman. He's put together great teams and won Super Bowls. But there are shenanigans that happen in the NFL. I never believed that A.J. Brown was playing for Lane Johnson. We knew Devonta Smith wasn't playing.
Especially when they weren't at
And
home.
on Friday, here in our conference room, as we're going through all the injury updates, we see LP for A.J. Brown and LP for Lane Johnson, and both listed as questionable. And what did I say? I said they're listed as questionable now until they don't make the trip down to Tampa, and they're going to be declared out. Now, only partly right. I never believed A.J. Brown was playing, especially with the bye, given the hamstring. And he did not make the trip, therefore ruled out. Lane Johnson made the trip, so he could stay questionable.
Mm-hmm.
But we still didn't think he was playing because you have to get an FP full practice before you go to see the independent neuro. You left on an LP note. Could the team declare you to have FP on Saturday? Well, they could in theory, even though
It doesn't happen a lot.
But then you got to go see a new neurologist down in Tampa.
In a different city. Yep. Yeah.
I mean, that makes it a higher threshold to clear. Never thought he was playing. So, look, definition of LP, get on the field to do something. Hey, A.J. Brown, Lane Johnson, we need you out there for an LP today. Okay, coach. Okay, Mr. Man, whoever said it.
Mm-hmm.
And then can we have you travel with us too? Then we don't need to rule you out. Lane Johnson says, yeah, I'm a bet. Let's do it. Concussion. No big deal. I can travel. A.J. Brown says, well, I get better rehab here in Philly. I don't want to sit on a plane with what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Just
that's why the down. Yeah. Yes,
the
for sure. Yeah.
Never believed.
Because you never believed it either
so
way.
Yes, we watch practice reports, but we put in a lot of other factors. Insider knowledge, not insider information.
Two names I just want to mention because we're getting to the point after week 4 now. People are coming off IR. The windows are opening up. Two people that we are 2 of the lowest 6 scores of this year. Nick Chubb and Hawkinson have begun to enter the field, I guess, and do some stuff work. Your thoughts on both of them? I know we've been really low since the preseason preview earlier than that.
If you have a chance to take, we haven't heard any rumors about Jonathan Brooks yet.
Right.
But I would take Jonathan Brooks over Nick Chubb in fantasy. Nick Chubb, maybe his practice window opens. That'd be great. Nick Chubb, maybe he can get on the field this year. That'd be great. If you told me Nick Chubb is back in the second half of this year at 50% of Nick Chubb, I would say, hallelujah, celebrate. That was a knee dislocation. Anything more than that, I would say, great freaking job.
His second career one, right? Yeah.
And the whole deal. So let's just see what happens there. And I'm not that high on Jonathan Brooks having a great season.
Because you're to jump, it's not even ACL, it's to jump to play as well. Yeah.
Both.
Yeah.
And then Carolina and the whole thing and so forth. So not trying to diminish anything.
Just pessimistic on his return. And then
I don't even say pessimistic. Realistic.
Yes.
Not
yes.
pessimistic.
Yes.
I like to be optimistic.
Yes. Yeah. I get that's a good change. Yeah. And TJ Hawkinson was ACL plus. We already had worries about him being effective. Yeah. So, all right. So we can jump, Doc. Have everything done. Beast of the week.
Before you get there,
go on. Yeah.
Just what are the crowd's questions or thoughts and yours? Tom Brady in his tie and shirt. I mean, he got a lot of grief for that.
What about the Baker Mayfield comments? He got a lot of grief for those as well. I wanted to talk with you about those. Yeah. So, because I want to outline. So Baker said it was stressful being his backup quarterback when he was there, and then Tom Brady responded saying it's stressful not winning Super Bowl rings. I thought he said the locker room. This isn't a play date. Like he said, if I want to have fun, I'm going to Disneyland with my kids. On air, he said that.
Tom Brady's the GOAT. And what did I say? Now that he's an announcer. See, Tom Brady didn't say boo for the majority of his career. because he was with the Patriots. When he got his freedom from the Patriots, he started doing a lot. He didn't do commercials. He started doing a lot of commercials,
Right.
and podcast stuff and speaking out.
I think Gillette was that the only thing he was allowed to do, I think.
and being himself.
Yep.
And I think he had so much built up. I don't know if clout's the right word. He wasn't, since we're talking Baker Mayfield,
Mm-hmm.
he was the anti-Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield came out as a rookie and had 17,000 Progressive Insurance commercials.
Right.
Peyton Manning didn't have any of that till he was done and established. Tom Brady didn't have any of that because
he left. Yeah, he left. Yeah.
And then when he started getting it, I think people gave him a pass because over his career, he really hasn't done a lot.
Do you remember the fire commercial, the crypto? Whenever you showed me that, I was like, he was just like you said, he was doing whatever he could. Any commercial, he was doing them.
But I said, now that you're an announcer, you're now held back to a very tough standard.
Okay.
And I think what people are saying is, you're there to announce the game. I think if he would have said that in his podcast with Jim Gray, I'd say, you go, Tom.
That would have been a better, yeah.
But you said this on the national broadcast. You made it about you instead of about the teams on the field.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing. The pot shot about the rings and,
Mm-hmm.
and not having rings is stressful. And Baker actually has grown up a lot. He handled a lot of class. Old Baker or young Baker would have planted a flag, and
young Baker was a different person.
Young
Yeah.
Baker was a different person.
Yep.
Mature Baker, married kid, the
Yep,
whole thing.
absolutely.
Now Baker said, yeah, I think he took it out of context and misunderstood. It was stressful because he was demanding perfection.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad. I just, and so I think he calmed it down very well.
Yeah.
And usually it's the announcer that calms it down, not fuels the fire. And so I think that's what was a little bit unusual.
That relationship's interesting for me because I feel like if you're Tom Brady's partner, I feel like you'd be hesitant to be the one to settle him down a little bit.
I think if you listen, I love Kevin Burkhardt.
Yeah, he's awesome. No,
I tried to get him on the podcast, but at the time I made a dumb mistake because he kind of texted me back and said, yeah, I kind of have some baseball games to do.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
part.
he's got other sports. Yeah. Yep.
He was very polite.
No, he's awesome.
We're in the off season. We're trying to get him on. I said,
He's not my off season.
Sunday night baseball. I got.
He's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my bad, Kevin. Listen to the tape there. It seems to me he and Kevin already talked about it.
Okay.
Burkhardt gave him a little.
He pushed him a little bit. Yes, he did because he mentioned the situation. Yeah.
You got anything to say about that?
Yeah. He prodded him a little. Yeah, for sure.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Just like you prodded me to try and call out the Eagles, but I was trying to soften.
Yes. Yeah.
Trying to deal. But I guess I just commented on Tom saying that. But this is not a national broadcast. This is my podcast. This is the time to have your hot takes and do your personal opinions. Whereas a national broadcast.
You said that about Breeze and Witten too, or when they did it.
I'll give a small example.
Yeah.
I'm not anything close to the pinky finger on Tom Brady, but what I just said about the Eagles and the
AJ Brown, yeah.
Stuff, I would not say that on Sirius XM. Either my hit today or my hit Friday on the national Sirius broadcast. That's serious football. That's like whatever. I'm brought on for injury commentating and different things. I'm not brought on to have my theories about different things.
Right.
Or take a pot shot, which I don't think my thing.
That's like me adding it to the article about just a basic AJ Brown hamstring thing. Oh yeah, by the way, he didn't travel because of this little theory. Like you don't do that stuff. Yeah.
The Sirius XM broadcast is not the time
for sure.
With that previous story,
it's a different setting. Yeah.
Tom should have done it on his podcast. I think. What about his shirt? People are saying that's from Costco.
It might have been. I would assume no for him, but
I mean, I guess stripes and polka dot. I don't know. Maybe it's probably the new trend because
Tom Brady did it. Yeah, it's like that Mean Girls thing where some girl cut her holes in her shirt and then everybody was wearing holes in her shirt.
Me, is Tom a lot thinner?
Isn't that usually with all the like?
I'm just asking the question.
Yeah, he looks thinner. It's not like Russell Kuhn losing 350 pounds and fasting all day. But
and yes. Ben Bolin, who we've had on the podcast,
friend of the
story about Brady maybe going to the Dolphins was completely true before the Flores lawsuit
Right.
and what have you.
Stephen Ross and everything. Yeah.
They never debunked that. But no, he's not going to Miami for Tua for multiple reasons. Late season run, I guess it's not impossible, but even then, Tua still wants to play. He's not going in for a 4-week rental and then battling Tua. That's a dead issue.
If they had a healthy defense, I think maybe, but I don't think their defense is.
No.
You don't think so either
Even
way?
if they had a healthy defense,
good.
no.
They wouldn't still go for some wins. Yeah. Okay.
If Tom Brady's coming back, he's coming back
For the whole year. Yeah.
He's not
Yeah. For
coming
sure.
back for 4 weeks.
Yeah,
and
you're
giving
right.
the job back to Tua or 6 weeks.
Go back in the booth. Yeah.
And he doesn't want that. The perceived battle is not.
He needs
good.
complete control for the rest of the season and finish it out. Yeah.
You need to do it the Tom Brady way.
Right.
I mean, and that's why you'd want him anyways.
Yeah.
You need him to create the stress. Just kidding.
You stress me out, dog. So I'm saying. Beast of the week, dog. Auburn cheerleader. She was. I want you to go through that video. She was doing the tumbling splits, whatever, flips, and foot right to the face of the Oklahoma.
Look, mad respect to the cheerleader. My 11-year-old, she does competitive cheer.
Mm-hmm.
I can't name all the things that cheerleader did.
I just tried to, and it's hard. Yeah.
My 11-year-old actually does that.
Mm-hmm.
Back hamstring, round. I don't even know all the names.
You know more than me. Yeah.
Boom, 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 across the thing. Yeah, inadvertent. Kick the guy. She's a beast for having done all of that. He's a beast for getting up, but it's expected. It's more the shock of what was that?
Yeah,
right?
You didn't even know that's coming.
He's got a helmet on.
Yep.
Yeah, you got kicked.
Did the foot you don't think the foot slip through? Face mask,
not.
Yeah.
The kill shot.
Little Van Noy thing, yeah.
The kill shot like Top Gun 2.
Yeah, you go right. Yeah, it's like a heat-seeking missile right to the.
No, I'm sure the pregame coordinator and the cheerleading coordinator got a little talking to. Like, what are you doing?
She just forgot where she was and just kept going, right? Yeah.
But good that nobody got hurt. Everything was fine.
I do want to mention we have other sports at sixscore.com. Big injury. We're going to be doing a little bit of hockey, obviously. Drew Doughty, top Kings defenseman. You saw a little fractured ankle on that, right? Little, just a small, yeah. No, fractured ankle month to month, they said. Yeah.
I know. I got sideswiped with my mentions on Twitter with a couple.
You got a couple this weekend, yeah.
My first thing was like, is this current today or is this like old? Or am I being duped?
Little deep fake action, yeah.
I saw that thing about Gronk. They fed him.
The prank thing, yeah. Yes, I did. Yes, yeah.
I think it was freaking hilarious. I think Gronk took it well, but I don't know. That's kind of a low deal.
They're like, we know you're maybe not smart. Let's really harp on that.
I mean, I got to give it to him that he took it very well, kind of deal. But I mean, to me, I think that kind of prank is incredibly funny. And we might have pranked each other here in our war room or in the offices. So
banter, yeah.
But I wouldn't post my prank of you on Twitter.
And they're talking through it.
They posted that nationally now.
Yep.
I mean,
Fox Sports put it out there. Yep.
I mean, I thought that was, I don't know.
Rich Russo, tight end with 2 fingers missing. Yeah.
And you can see now, to fairness to Gronk, he's looking at the camera. He can't see Terry Bradshaw.
He's locked in. Yeah,
yep. He's making say, "What the frick is going on here?" Kind of thing. But he did go to Jake Ferguson and whatever. But it's interesting that they showed that. I thought that was interesting and funny there. Good TV for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know if it was completely fair to try and get Gronk that way. And
they're calling it getting gronked too, so they're making it a whole thing, on the Fox Sports media page.
Yeah, it's fun, but you could say that he didn't say Rich Russo's a great player.
Yes,
He actually didn't. He just went, well, there's Jake Ferguson.
It's just making stuff up, trying,
Yeah, it's all good. Anything else for today here? I hope this new format works. 11 o'clock Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern with live questions. Hopefully you got all your questions.
Yes, sick picks. Yep.
The pregame injury chat, about an hour before the game, the halftime chat. I guess you all had a pretty good week on picks. The totals do well. What did you say, Doug? 5-1 on the sides this week?
Yep. And our totals have been hitting over 70% as well.
Yeah, there's 5-1 on the sides this week, and I guess your guaranteed pick. So
the Bears, yes,
Bears,
guaranteed pick.
Won and covered on the guaranteed pick.
Yes.
Guaranteed picks have been doing well. Actually, our quote internally, we have a system of rating how good the numbers are.
Yep.
The quote 3-star, though we don't promote them that way. The quote 3 stars have been pretty good this year. 6-1, something like that. But
would you mention it? It's basically like if someone comes up to you and says, "What are your picks this week?" Those picks have been doing good. The 1 or 2 that you've been giving out, I'd say, right?
Yeah. This week we're
Bears and Ravens, right?
And the Ravens.
Yep.
And Ravens. I will admit, the Ravens made me nervous after seeing Buffalo last week, but it's like, no, that's what the injuries and numbers say.
And you said the linebacker issues, Derrick Henry took advantage, and then so that was happened. I want to say basketball's coming up too. We did very well in our sick picks basketball last year. There's little Lonzo Ball issues are coming out.
Stuff that. Don't on baseball.
Yes, our 6 scores.
Numbers last year
for the playoffs.
Yep. Excellent correlation to healthy and advancing.
Yes.
Excellent correlation.
And we're releasing those playoff 6 scores today, so they'll be on
sickscore.com. Picks, sick data, some pretty good uptake.
Absolutely.
Having some fun here. All right, so I want to say after tonight, we're a quarter of the way through the season, but that would make me old because that was back in
16. Yeah. Yes. The math is not right now.
Quite
yes.
A quarter of the way through. Don't ask me to do the math. I don't know what the math is.
Yes.
On that. Thanks for listening and watching Pro Football Dog Sports Injury Central podcast here. And we'll keep the shorts coming. Breaking news. Fingers crossed on Rashee Rice. Glimmer of hope. We'll see if it pans out. Thanks for listening and watching, and give us the
like and subscribe,
whatever you call that stuff. Thank you very much.